to this point of Yabalazi. Ababalazi aba. Balazi, particularly Uyumaiche Lungisani. Lungisani, I am very disappointed with you. I am very disappointed with you, Lungisani. I am very disappointed with you. And they are misleading. Laz is misleading people. You are being misled. I want you to know this. You are being misled. I am talking on a very strong ground. On a firm ground that Laz is wrong on this one. I know but no, hey, you are not a lawyer. Hey, Laz, these guys are lawyers. Yeah, niba lawyer. Niba lawyer na kuma court baluse mirandu. Kuma court, they go. These are lawyers, but lawyers go to court and they lose cases. They lose cases. So don't tell me to say, no, these are lawyers, these are lawyers. What they have said, you know, it is cast in concrete. It is true. No. That's why they are losing cases. Laz has been losing cases. Laz has been losing cases. So don't tell me to say, I cannot talk about the law because I'm not a lawyer and lawyers, Balazi, what they have said is true. No. Your position that Bill 7 is illegal is totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's very wrong. You are very wrong on this one. Why are you wrong on this one? That judgment you are basing on, here kwamu Nia Zulu and the Celestino Mkande versus the Attorney General, that judgment is based on a case that was brought before court before Bill 7 was introduced in Parliament. Before Bill 7 was introduced in Parliament. That is the judgment. Now, let me give you an analogy first. Let me give you an analogy so that this analogy which I'm going to give you. Bill 7. Why I'm saying that your Bill 7 is legal. Your argument is wrong because you are basing on a judgment that was passed not on Bill 7. That judgment is not on Bill 7. Let them not cheat you. That judgment is not on Bill 7. That judgment is not on Bill 7. Lungisani, wherever you are, you agree with me that that judgment is not on Bill 7. It's not on Bill 7. It is on the processes before Bill 7. Now, let me give you an analogy. The scenario here is like somebody who applies to the council to get a plot. Somebody applies to the council, oh, therefore kulenganda. Okay, therefore kulenganda. So can you please give me a piece of land? Then the council responds to his application, gives this person a title deed and a plot and a title deed. Vamupela. Just like Hakainde Hichilema did apply to the Zambian people to be given a mandate, to be president. And in 2021, the people of Zambia gave Hakainde Hichilema a mandate. They gave Hakainde Hichilema a mandate. Just like in this analogy, a person who applies for a plot and then is given a plot and is given the title deed. Now, after this person gets a plot and a title deed, then he goes out to his friends and he tells them to say, hey guys, you know what? I want to build a house. Hey, I'm starting building a house. So I'm going to talk to a guy to deliver blocks. I'm going to talk to a guy to deliver cement. I'm going to talk to a guy to deliver planks. Okay? He has gotten a mandate. He has gotten a plot. Just like Hakainde Hichilema got a mandate to be president. And this guy has gotten a plot, has gotten a title deeds. And he's telling his friends, guys, I'm building a house. Tomorrow, I am bringing cement. Tomorrow, I'm doing whatever. And the money, I'm going to get the money from the bank. I'm going to apply. I don't have the money, but I'm going to apply for a loan at the bank. I'm going to apply for a loan at the bank so that I can build my house very quickly. Okay? Now his friends, the naysayers, those who don't like his friend, those who don't like this guy, they are like, this guy wants to build a house. They are not happy. They are not happy that this guy has gotten a plot, he has gotten a title, and he wants to build a house. They are not happy. Hey, they start planning now. How are we going to sabotage this guy from building the house that he wants to build? Okay? Next day, true to what this guy says, he goes to the bank and he makes an application. He makes an application to say, the bank, here is my title deed. I want to build a house. So can you loan me a 1 million kwacha because I want to build a house? And the bank says, okay, well and good. Let's see, let's look at this. Now his friends, upon seeing him going to the bank and making that application at the bank, these naysayers, these people who don't like progress, these people who don't like this guy, they don't want this guy to build a house, just like these guys don't like Hakainde Hichilema, and they don't want Hakainde Hichilema to succeed. They hear that the Minister of Justice has gone to Parliament because, I'm saying in an analogy, this guy goes to the bank, makes a presentation to say, I want to build a house. Similarly, this is what the Minister of Justice did, went to Parliament. She went to Parliament in a ministerial statement and said, yes, we are putting together a bill. We are putting together a bill which we will bring. Like in the analogy, this guy goes to a bank and presents the title deed to say, I've got a title deed. I want to build a house. I want to build a house. The bank says, we will look into it. Just like the way members of Parliament said, okay, let's see what happens. We will wait to see that bill. But the naysayers, they go to court. They go to court. They go to court quickly, they run. You know, this guy has gone to the bank. He's applying for a loan to build a house. But he has not followed the process. And the process, what is the process? The process is that before you build a house, you must get council approval. You must present your plans to the council. But this guy is here at the bank. He has gone to the bank applying for a loan, and yet he has not presented his papers to the council for the papers to be approved, for the plan to be approved. This is what Munia Zulu and Celestino did. They heard the minister in Parliament presenting to say, we intend to bring a bill. And then they went to court. Just like a guy that presented papers, that has presented papers to the bank to say, I want to build a house. And the naysayers, they quickly go to court to say, this guy wants to build a house, but he has come here without consulting the council. He has not given the council notice. He has not given them a plan. First, before he comes here to say he's building a house, before he gets that, he's supposed to go to the council. And the council must give him, he must approve the plan. What if the council what if the council refuse to say, you can't build this house? So they make this argument like that in court to say this guy that has applied for a loan here, he has not cleared his plan with the council. So if you give him money, to build a house, maybe the council might refuse the plan. So please, stop the bank from giving him the money. The bank should not give him the money, because he risks not building a house because he has not presented a plan. Coming to our story of Bill 10, this is what Munia Zulu and the Celestino did. They went to court and said the government has plans of changing the law. They want to bring a bill, but they have not consulted the people. I hope you are following. That's what they did. They went to court and said, please, stop these people from bringing the bill to parliament. Stop them. Why? Not because they have not gone to the people. Maybe the people will not agree. Maybe the people will not agree. This is an analogy. And the ruling of the court, based on that, the court says, of course, what do you think the court will say? The court would agree to say, yes, the process of building a house is that you must present your plan to the council. But you have not done that. Can you make sure that you present your plan to the council as you proceed in building that house? You need to go to the council. Let the council approve that. Now, the question is, at this point where we are talking, is the bill there? The bill is not there. The bill is not there. Has the money, if you talk about an analogy, has the bank given money? No. No. So what we are talking about here, the bill is not yet in parliament. It is an intention. And the court expressed itself to say, well, if this is what you want to do, you have to make sure that you comply with those articles. And you know, some of you, just like quoting articles, even you, Lungisan, you were there, article 1, 2, 3, what? You know, trying to intimidate people. Let's go and read what is in those articles. Let's go and read what is in those articles. It is about, the principles of and values and good governance. It is not something that is clear to say this is how the law should be amended. No, it is basically talking about good practice. It is talking about good practice. It is talking about good governance. Not that there is a law that is being broken. I'm challenging Valas. There is no law that is being broken by Bill 7. No. What basically we are talking about in those article number what? The summary of it is about good governance. That's all. The summary of it is about good governance, good practice. The best practice are these. It is not that somebody is breaking the law. It is not that somebody is breaking the law. It is not that somebody is breaking the law. No. It is about good practice. It's like when I'm challenging anyone. I'm challenging anyone. There is no law that is being broken there. Because there is no law that says government should go to the people and seek their authority to amend the law. There is no law. There is no law. There is no law. There is no law. That's why Lungisan could not engage the members of parliament. That's why he couldn't. That's why he refused to go into these substantive matters. There is no law. What the court said are best practices. So anyway, getting back to my analogy, comparing to this. So the court guided on the best practices. Just like they would guide somebody who wants to get a loan from a bank. They would guide to say the best practice is, to avoid a risk of your house being turned down or your plans being turned down. The best practice is present your plan. Present your plan to the council. When they approve it, then take it to the bank. Has the court told this person not to build a house? Has he? Have they done that? Because this is what we are talking about here. You can argue all you want, but I'm challenging you. Go and read. Go and read what the court said. The court did not say you can't bring this bill to parliament. They never said that. But what happened now? What did the UPND do? What the UPND did, they prepared the bill and they shared the bill. We saw the bill. They shared the bill. And in that bill, because a lot of you, mwalebe porufi, haka inde ichinema, muli bill yakwe, alefo kuchita 7 years, ukuchinja his term from 5 to 7 years. No, haka inde ichinema, alefo kunyako term limiti. No, haka inde ichinema, alefo kunyako 50% plus 1. No, haka inde ichinema, alefo kunyako running mate. This is what you are saying. This is what you are saying. The court never stopped Bill 7. And Hakainde Hichilema and his government, they presented to us the bill. And when they presented to us the bill, all those fears that you had instilled in us were not there. They were not there. Those articles that you are talking about, they were not there. The articles which are there are straightforward. Very straightforward. Very straightforward clauses. So this, what happens now? What does the law say in terms of amendment? Article 76 simply says that you must be able to put a gazette notice. You must gazette the bill. After Mwachita prepare bill, you must gazette it. That's what the law says. Those are the procedures. When the bill is presented, is prepared, it must be gazetted. And it must be in the public domain for 29 days. 29 days. And that 29 days, if there is somebody who has got issues, they can go to court and stop it. But by the time these people were going to court, there was no bill, not even a gazette notice. They didn't act on the gazette notice because they are naysayers, they are busybodies, they are motivated by this hatred. They couldn't even wait for the gazette notice. They couldn't. The best that they could have done at least is to wait for a gazette notice. Because when the gazette notice is presented, you can challenge the bill. You can challenge the bill. But these guys, that Mukandila and Munia Zulu, that case is not even based on the bill, not even on a gazette notice. Not. It is not. Hakainde Hichilema and his government, what did they do? They prepared the bill and they filed it. They gazetted it. And it ran for 29 days. It ran for 29 days. Before it was presented into parliament. And those are the procedures. Those are the procedures. A gazette was done. Then it was presented into parliament as Bill 7. By the time, the confusion which is there is that the time that the judgment was coming out, the bill was already in parliament. This is the confusion. You are confused. But I don't think Lungisani is confused about that. It is just that Lungisani is being motivated by certain, aggrandizement that he has. I will not go into that. But I know where Lungisani is coming from. I know. But I'm not going to go there. But the issue is that what I'm talking about, I'll just try to be objective and talk about issues. The time the judgment was coming out, the bill was already in parliament. And that is why you people thought that the judgment was on Bill 7. It was not on Bill 7. The other problem which I found myself is that President Hakainde Hichilema paused. He paused that bill. And these people, the propagandists, they ran a propaganda saying Hakainde Hichilema stopped this because of the judgment. No. Hakainde Hichilema pausing the bill in parliament has got nothing to do with the judgment. Hakainde Hichilema pausing the bill in parliament has got nothing to do with Munia Zulu and Mukandila's judgment. It has got nothing to do with that. Nothing. It hasn't got anything to do with that. Go and argue with them. I wish I were in Zambia. I'm telling you, I wish nachwa Muzambia nganini piesha, because those are totally different issues. Hakainde Hichilema stopped that bill because he met the civil society at State House. The stopping of the bill is linked to the meeting that President Hakainde Hichilema had with the civil society. That is the link, not the judgment. Not the judgment. But these people, they went out to say, yeah, we have stopped Hakainde Hichilema. We have stopped the bill. No. That bill was not put on hold because of your judgment. No. Because your judgment was not based on Bill 7. You people, mweva velenga, I've read it. I've read it, 44 pages. Is it 44 pages? It has got 44 pages, I think. I've read that judgment. From the start up to the end, I've read it. There is nowhere where Bill 7 is cited. There is nowhere. Even the court, when they were ruling, they actually mentioned to say, we cannot talk about the bill, we can't touch the bill, but we can talk about issues before the bill is presented. And according to good governance, according to morals and principles, whatever, according to that, we can talk about it. And the best way is to go to the people. That is what the court is guiding. That is what the court is guiding. The court is not saying, no, they are wrong. No, they are not saying that. They are guiding the best practices. Not Bill 7. Not Bill 7. Bill 7 is not in the judgment. How can you say the Bill 7 is wrong when Bill 7 was not part of the deliberation? How? Iwe lungisani, nangu ni mwa lawyer, nangu ni mwa lazi presidenti. Nangu ni mwa lazi presidenti, nopo mwikele. Mune minoko watu ifale pounda, ifale chita propound ya pa. Public lawyer fiachine. Even lawyer, whatever, I'm a lawyer Z, you agree with me, there is no way a court can pronounce itself on a bill that is not under discussion. There is no way. There is no way. Bill 7 is not part. The only problem that is there, it's these two issues, the confusion. Because by the time the judgment was coming, the bill was in court, was in parliament. And then, unfortunately, President Hakainde Hichilema halted it. So this is the confusion that is there. This is the confusion that is there. But I'm telling you, for a fact, these are facts. These are facts. I'm even going to open phone lines. I'll open phone lines so that mun challenge. And therefore, I want you to challenge me. These are facts. Hakainde Hichilema stopped that bill because he met with the civil society. They are the ones that convinced him. Stop it so that we can put in our issues. I said, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop it so that you can make your submissions. I'll pause it. Meanwhile, court now yachita guide to say the best practice are these. But those best practice, they were not on Bill 7. They were not on Bill 7. They were not on Bill 7. This is a fact. Muntalike. Was Bill 7 part of your deliberations? No. Ima mwalivu tukirokia kukoti. Mwalivu tukira. You went ahead. Soon after, the Justice Minister presented it in Parliament. Your arguments were based on what President Hakainde Hichilema said and what the Minister of Justice said in Parliament on the intention to bring the bill, Those were your arguments. Those were your arguments. And that is what the court guided on. Not that the bill was there. So, if you actually stand to Lungisani, he was totally wrong, totally out of order. Don't be cheated that Bill 7 is illegal. Bill 7 is very legal. Bill 7 is very legal. There is nowhere where that judgment talks about Bill 7.